I want to talk about Catra. I want to talk about Catra, this beautiful being. Yes, Catra. Can we just please appreciate Catra for the moment? Yes, thank you. This is a fun character. I fell in love with Catra. I am in love with Catra. Oh my gosh. the the story behind this character is crazy. Oh my goodness. Like there's so much to cover. Let's see. Where do we start? Okay. Spoiler warning. For those of you who haven't seen She-Ra, just please. Very large spoiler warning. Okay, so character development. I feel like Catra from the beginning had a very like, how would you say? Catra, Catra, yes, I feel like throughout the show has been chaotic, but at the same time, like back when the show started, or specifically this Catra, not the original She-Ra, but this Catra, this beautiful cat being Magic Cat, uh, was particularly chaotic. Like, she was in the Horde for her entire life, abused by the Horde, abused by, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. What's her name? Oh my gosh, her name? Ah, the one of the not the sub. Oh my gosh, what is her? I'm so mad at myself. I can't. My sick brain is not. You guys have probably no idea who I'm talking about. Where? Oh my gosh, she's not even. Oh, Shadow Weaver. Yes, thank you. That's right. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I am so dumb. It was on the tip of my tongue too. Heavily abused by Shadow Weaver, and yet didn't leave because manipulation and also Adora, right? You know, I remember from the first episode, Catra being very like she even told Adora when Adora was like just figured out that Shadow Weaver was manipulating them into being the way that they are. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wait. I hold on. I just a cute image and I need to look at that. Oh my god, how adorable. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I just had to make that tangent real quick because oh my goodness. So cute. But anyway, this is not the same Catra, but hot. But um where was I? What was I talking about? I just got totally distracted right now. So Catra, like she even told Adora that duh, Shadow Weaver has been manipulating you all this time, both of us, and yet because of all of the manipulation and things like that, she wanted to stay. It is just I find it akin to Zuko's character. Like these two characters, I feel like are very similar. Zuko and Catra. So Zuko and Avatar, like, for as much of the abuse that Zuko went through, Zuko in the beginning still stayed with the Fire Nation, even in exile. After getting burned by his own, literally and metaphorically burned by his own father, Zuko still decided to stay. And I akin that to Catra very much. Um, kind of both the they both had to deal with that, with the expectation, with the abuse. But let's see, Catra did develop quite a bit over time, like the series, and it wasn't like. And I'm not saying that Zuko didn't, but at the same time, Zuko was like until like the second to last season was still kind of on the Fire Nation side, instead of like still going to Ba Sing Se. But I'm talking about Zuko now. We're talking about Catra. Stop Zuko. So Catra, after Adora left, like it makes a lot of sense that um, Catra kind of took the reins, being the force captain at that point. So I have a question for you, chat. By this time, when Adora and Catra were still in the together, do you think that like this scene, I love this scene, but by this point, do you think that they had the love for each other like they did later in the season or later in the show? Like maybe it was unspoken and didn't. I wish I could have my Catra for ages. I know. I mean, I won't say it. Please say it. Like in the we'll have a discussion. I want to have a discussion. This is why I want your opinion in the chat. Post something, please. Tell me what to cover. And then I can talk, and then you can also talk with me. Like what? Okay, I have questions for you, chat. The first question being, by this time, when Catra and Adora were still in the Horde together, do you think that like the spark of love was there? Because I know that like they cared about each other, but I feel like it is quite debated. Um, to which, like, did their love start here or did it start later in series? Well, of course. Yeah, but do you think it was more like platonic love that blossomed into more romantic love, or do you think that it like has just always kind of been romantic? But I agree. I feel like in the Horde, you probably wouldn't. There's probably no room for any sort of love at all whatsoever. So that probably heavily influenced their ability to express themselves. Nah, they were always pretty romantic. That's fair. I feel like we have some like pretty solid evidence of that too. You know what I mean? I feel the same way, because then that would also like largely explain why Catra went down the path that Catra did, because she was so hurt by Adora leaving. If they didn't love each other, I highly doubt that Catra would have done the same thing that Catra did. um, Even being a because as I said earlier, Catra towards the beginning, was very chaotic, very like um, down with the man. You know what I mean? But then after Adora leaves, and thus by proxy, Catra becomes the new Force captain, she actually takes up the honor and enforces it and becomes a part of what she hated. That pretty much at that point went against a lot of her beliefs. Not very rebellious at all. And I think that a portion of that is due to Adora, her love, leaving, and that feeling of abandonment. right? Because like think about Catra. If you had somebody in your life that just ditched you for after many years, and especially under the circumstances, like imagine being a part of an army and like your comrade whom you like love so much joins the other side. Like, oh my gosh, that's pretty heartbreaking. um so yeah, it makes a lot of sense why Catra did, and so that's why I agree with you. They were, I feel like, in my opinion, from the beginning, or from at least from when they were more adults, they have been pretty romantic. They just had, it's kind of like, for those of you who are LGBTQ, like have you noticed that sometimes when you were young, because you had no like exposure to anything outside of like the straightness, you kind of like didn't know that being something else was an option, right? So like for them being in the horde that where there's no room for love at all, no room for compassion. It's just, mindless machinery. Um they probably didn't even realize that it was love like that. You know what I mean? And so like, I mean, obviously it would have happened anyway. They would have found their love regardless. But that's why kind of breaking away from the horde when Catra left the horde too kind of emphasized this. And even throughout the show, there have just been constant hints and things like that of they caring extremely about each other, Adora and Catra. And it's not just saying like, oh, they just care so much about each other. They're really good friends. No, no, I don't think you can say that without lying, because it's pretty explicit how much they love each other in the show.